Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dan Lanning, the Oregon Ducks rolling on the recruiting trail. We just got done breaking down the film of four-star defensive lineman Josiah Sharma, Oregon Ducks program. I take a look at my phone. Four-star running back from modern day, Jordon Davison, joining Josiah Sharma in this Oregon class of 2025. And hey, the Oregon commitment sweatshirt, no need for a wardrobe change. We got it back on. You look at Jordon Davison. This kid's such a fascinating running back prospect. You go back to his sophomore year of high school, he was considered one of, if not the best running back in the class of 2025. You fast forward to the junior year, he gets a little banged up, was not 100%. The recruiting rankings take a little bit of a hit. This kid going into his senior year, if he kind of gets back to that sophomore year form, you are looking at one of the best running backs in the class of 2025. And you look at some of the other recruiting services, rivals, they still have him as a five-star prospect, top 20 national kid, the number 2 running back in the class of 2025. And you start looking into Jordon Davison and what kind of running back this kid is. You see it on the screen, right? 6 foot, 215 pounds. He's got a very thick lower half. This is a no-nonsense running back, and it's not always flashy with the guy like Jordon Davison, but he attacks the line of scrimmage. He's extremely decisive and has some really short area quickness that is really impressive. This guy deals with contact exceptionally well. This is a running back that I think can contribute very early on in his Oregon Ducks career. Pumped up to get into the film. Before we do it, as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. And we said it with Josiah Sharma. I'll say it again. One, the Oregon Duck fans, you guys continue to show a ton of love to the boys. Can't thank you guys enough. It sounds like it's going to be a very fun late month of June into July for this Oregon program on the recruiting trail. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Jordon Davison, a prospect that I'm very familiar with, not only because he's been one of the best running backs throughout this 2025 class, but as a Michigan fan myself, this was a top running back target for this Michigan program. You look at Jordon Davison, you just think it's going to translate really well to the collegiate level. You see a lot of running backs that coming from high school, making that jump to college, they're kind of East and West running backs. They're used to using their athleticism, just making people miss. And that doesn't always translate to the collegiate level. You see a lot of running backs that like to get downhill, deal with contact. That type of stuff translates a lot quicker. That's Jordon Davison's running style. This kid is an absolute hammer. Kind of reminds me of Jordan James as a running back. It is no nonsense. It's not flashy like sometimes Bucky Irving was, but it's awfully effective, right? Jordan James averaged 7 yards per carry for this Oregon Ducks program in 2023. Jordon Davison, kind of a very similar running style. There's not as much breakaway speed, but this is a guy that can make people miss in a phone booth. He's extremely decisive as a running back. And you get into the film, and I'm going to take us back to the sophomore film because this was by far the best film that he's put out. And I just love how he runs the football. Even as a sophomore in high school, this is a kid that is extremely decisive when it comes to running down at the line of scrimmage. He wants to get downhill. He's a guy that can make people miss in a phone booth. The short area quicks on Jordon Davison, it's kind of next level, right? He's decisive. He has very good feel for that running back position. Again, you go back to this rep right here, recognizing where the leverage is. We're going to hit that hole hard. And then when it's time to get into the open field, I'm not saying Jordon Davison's a burner by any means, but he's a guy that can get it done. And he can go 98 yards for a touchdown if he does have the opportunity. But where Jordon Davison really does excel is just the short area quickness, the feel that he has for the running back position, and the ability to work through contact. Again, this is a kid that has a thick lower half. He's got a college-ready build, can get it done as a pass catcher as well. This was one of the – you freeze this right here, and you tell me Jordon Davison is taking this one in for 6. I would tell you no way. You continue to watch the film, just making people miss, bouncing off tackles. The contact balance that Jordon Davison has, it's kind of on another level. And you see the physicality in which he runs with. I mean, there's not much East and West in his game. When it is time to get downhill, he's attacking the line of scrimmage. He's inviting contact as a ball carrier. That's what entices me the most because you don't see many running backs invite contact like a guy like Jordon Davison. He certainly does. And again, the jump cuts, the short area quickness, the willingness to get downhill, those are all things that I absolutely love about Jordon Davison. Again, don't get me wrong, this kid can burn, but I just love and this is a violent jump cut. He's very twitchy. Again, those phone booth mechanics, really, really good, making people miss in space, getting downhill. I'm really intrigued by this kid. I cannot wait to see what he does as a senior, because he's one of those guys that I feel like is going to get a bump in the recruiting ranking. And you take a look at Oregon's class in 2025, a couple weeks ago, we were sitting outside the top 30, Dan Lanning, the Oregon Ducks. They're starting to turn it up. And we said a couple weeks ago, we're not panicking with what Dan Lanning does on the recruiting trail. And he's a late closer. You take a look at Josiah Sharma, it sounded like it was Texas all the way until Friday morning. Oregon comes in late. You know Oregon's going to close. They're building a really strong class. And you just start scrolling down this list. It's blue chip central. I mean, just a ton of blue chip caliber players. They're building a very strong base to this 2025 class. They're going to be going after some 5 stars over the next couple of weeks. We'll keep you guys updated. Again, appreciate y'all rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.